Narinder.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I've been trying to get you on for a while, to be fair.
You have indeed.
Yes, and we finally made it. You're making it, and we're really, really pleased. As you know, you've seen what we talk about with our podcast.
I have.
Everything to do with education, and I thought, how can we not get Narinder on?
No. She brought her own homework as well.
I did.
Amazing, so we're
I
homework
teach
out. And I've met you quite recently, but I've had a look at all your work, everything that you're involved with. And yeah, as soon as I knew what you were doing, I was like, I've got to get you on. We just got to talk more about your journey.
Oh, okay.
To here. You asked me, didn't you, what's the topic? I'm like, you? You are the topic.
We listen.
We listen and we bounce and we talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you do so much good work within education. You're involved with lots of talking, lots of amazing stuff. And I thought, let's get you on, let's have a chat about what you're working on.
Okay.
And let's go from there. But first thing is, introduction who you are.
Okay.
And take us back your journey of how you actually ended up
Why am I
in
here?
education.
Okay, so who am I? It's interesting, isn't it? A lot of people would say, who am I? I'm an educator, I'm this, but actually I'm a mother of three. So
Nice.
How do we define ourselves? I'm actually, I call myself a compassionate, kind-hearted person, and that's the heart of who I am. But actually, when we say who we are, we go with identity and titles, don't we? And when in my various stages of my career, when I left the job and you go somewhere and they go, what do you do? And that defines who you are. It always made me think, no, I'm not going to define myself by my title. So I thought that was quite
Love
interesting.
that.
Who are you?
Yep.
So it's a really real question about identity and labels, isn't it? So let me start off with growing up in a city, challenging area in Leicester, one of six. My dad came into this country to get a better education for all of us. Not much money, but hard working. And I laughed with someone the other day and said, you know how Tony Blair said, education, education, education. Well, I'm sorry, that came in our house first. It was very much, if you weren't in education, you kind of not got a choice. Mm-hmm. That's why he wanted a better future for us. Now, out of the six of us, some of us took that, some didn't, some did other things, and that was choices. I was passionate about education. I watched what was happening in schools, and I loved learning. I didn't know at that stage I wanted to be a teacher or a head and move on in that way. But I absolutely loved anything to do with learning. I was in the library all the time. And again, I don't know about you, I really struggle with libraries closing. I loved the library. It was an escapism for me. When you're a small house with six of you in there, my gosh, you've got to run and escape. And library was for me. Was lucky. I went to college, did A-levels, studied psychology, loved psychology, went to Preston Poly, which is now the University of Central Lancashire, as what it should be called now. But in those days, it's Preston Poly, as my children remind me. Loved studying psychology, loved learning about the brain, loved learning about how we operate and how we behave in the way we did. Came out of that. My wonderful A-level teacher said, right, do you want to teach at university? I went, oh, all right then. So she said, right, do 2 modules for the undergraduate. And, it's somebody seeing something in you and thinking you can do this at the age of 21. And you're thinking, can I? Really? Okay. So I was teaching 2 modules at the university. I was doing A-level evening class teaching, fresh out of university. Not a clue what I was doing, if I'm really honest. Did that for a year, and then my husband, who we met at uni, got married, moved up to Wolverhampton. I mean, that was a move in itself anyway, but another day, another story. And I couldn't get into university because I didn't really know anybody. So to start again and think, what am I going to do? Did the PGCE, became a teacher, did 3 years, hated it. I loved the teaching. Now, in those days, and it shows my age, which I won't say because obviously I look 40, is that you were interviewed for your post by the council and you went into a pool. They then told you where you were teaching and what age range. So you just imagine you've done this training and you think, I want to teach year 6 because I've always taught older people. And they put me with reception, little ones. Wow. What am I going to do? This is hilarious. The reason
So it's like a ballot. It was just like
I don't know.
Sounds like a
Ballot.
ballot,
It used to be
doesn't it?
called the pool. And so, but you just imagine teaching little ones when you were trained with older ones. I have to say, somewhere someone must have known that was the best thing for me, because I had the most amazing nursery nurse who was my teacher. We had 30 children, no other resources. You had to teach them to read and write. I absolutely loved it because my psychology was coming out again. How do children learn? You know, by the age of 7, their brain's nearly formed. We really need to get better at understanding early years. So huge respect for every early years educator. Third year, didn't like it, was in a school whereby it wasn't fashionable to talk brilliantly about children. It wasn't fashionable to say education's a great thing. And I'm like a sponge thinking, oh my God, this is so exciting. My children can read, No, that wasn't fashionable. So in my third year, I thought I'm going to leave the profession. And you can see the stats. A lot of people leave the profession in their third year. Something goes wrong. For me, the school wasn't the right place for me. I saw a job advertised and I thought, do you know what, I'm going to go for it. And it was way above, as my head teacher told me at the time, way above your pay grade. You will never get this job. So that makes me more determined. Mm-hmm. Anyone who knows me knows when you say you can't do it, I will do it. I'll find a way. Anyway, went for that job. It was raising standards in 145 schools in Sandwell, the deputy lead. And it was working for the most inspirational educators in the world. And it was just, oh my God. This is like what I thought it should have been. And from there, my journey really started in education. From there, I rediscovered what education was about, how transformative it could be. Even though I experienced it, I could see the difference you could make. And it led me to I led that project in the end. I became a head teacher following that of an inner city primary school in Birmingham, then in Chapel Allerton in Leeds, and then my final school in Beeston. So 3 headships, all inner city, all challenging, all teaching me lots of different things. Loads of stories I could share on another day about those. Headship's a privilege. It's one of the, I think, greatest jobs you can have. It's tough, it's hard, but it's a privileged job because I kind of think you've got all these brains in your hands and you set the tone, you shape and mould what you want the culture to be and how you want these little beings to go when they leave you and be better human beings. It's probably one of the best jobs you can have in the world, I think. Left that, as I left, I do those spinning plates and I bought a domiciliary care business because I thought, I know I can look after old people and I can safeguard them because I'm really passionate about old people.
Straight to older people
and
from the young ones.
That was interesting. 10 years of working in the healthcare industry, even during the whole COVID years. But every opportunity you take in life, there's always a bit of learning that comes out. And I think the key is what's the learning for you. Those 10 years taught me that if we don't get the education right for our children, there's the belief that the only job you're going to do is care. But if we don't raise the value of what care is, all we're going to think is all you do is wipe bottoms, and you don't. You actually are a highly trained professional. I know. I did the training and I then led on the training thinking they are qualified staff that look after your most vulnerable adults. And if you're sandwiched in between having older parents and younger children, you'll know what I'm talking about. I learned a lot about dementia. Didn't even know the word existed in 2013. I thought, what was that about? All the things that people go through and juggling different things and understanding the stories of older people. I think we're quite dismissive of our older generation a lot of the time, but and impatient, I think.
Very, yeah.
And I kind of think, I have a really good friend, he's 92. He emails me poetry and I critique his poems and I feel really, every time I do it, how's it going to land for him? But it's the 92 years of life and story I see. I don't see 92 years of age. So I think... So in between that, and then I sold that, I became Director of School Improvement for a Multi-Academy Trust, having always worked in inner city. Suddenly I'm in a different context, North Yorkshire, very rural, very small schools, so totally different to what I've been used to. Again, new learning. How do you galvanise when I joined, it was 7 schools that went to 12. And then when I left in January, it was 18. How do you galvanise 18 schools to all want to work towards a common purpose and a vision for education where every learner matters and matters equally? So important. And so, again, another privileged position of bringing together leaders and setting the tone of how you want them to lead. I was the oldest person there, more or less, and it felt we were bringing the next generation of leaders through. Great opportunity to share the knowledge and expertise with a really incredible trust. Enjoyed working with them. Reached the stage when I was talking to my CEO where it was time for me to step back out to see the system and to influence the system in a different way. So every time I've walked out of something, it's to think, what else can I offer? What else can I do? And my job's done because I think the trust is standing on its own 2 feet and doing brilliantly. I set up structures and systems, which I love doing. And it's great to watch the things continue and develop. So what did I do? I said to my wonderful 3 children that I'm going to have a break. That lasted 2 weeks because I was successful in getting the role with the Department for Education, which is the RISE advisor role, almost like a dream role, working to develop good practice in the universal offer, looking at how we can galvanise all the good practice around the communities in the Yorkshire and Humber region, but also support those schools that have been more challenged and are struggling to see or are trying, but something's got in the way for them to continue to be on that journey to provide the right outcomes, whether they're qualitative or quantitative. So that's just, at the moment, I'm a bit giddy about that because it's a really, really great role to influence the system in a different, wider way. And then that wasn't enough, really. So I then set up 3 side businesses, which I do really...
I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I say,
Some story. It's good though.
I'm going to tell you
Goodish.
the theme behind
Please.
them. So 2 of them are with AI. And, in my degree in 86, I studied artificial intelligence. And in those days, you kind of thought, what's going to become of it? It's going to be the Hoovers, isn't it? Or the telephones changing or whatever. And I've always been interested in the neural networks, whether they be the computer or whether they be your brain. So there is the similarities between that. And obviously in 23, suddenly I saw the insurgence of AI again coming through, Gen AI really. And for me, I'm interested in the connections between being human, and as a human using a machine, so the human learning and the machine learning, and then how practically does it look for our children from the age of 3 onwards, and how do we integrate that critical literacy that they need, that real thinking that they need. We know that the jobs of the future are about communication. They're about, those are the key skills we need. We need them to be adaptable, flexible, and I think Bill Gates names those 3 himself. And you look and you think, but we need to start preparing them from 3. That's my early years bit, saying the brain is developed by 9, by the age of 7. So we need to kind of really start earlier. So setting up the businesses, one looking at the digital portfolio, so looking at the other side of the spectrum of how do we develop children to be passionate about their learning of computer science, how do they actually manifest and use those tools in a way in which they're purposeful but creating something so that they're not just a game that they play on. How do they understand the mechanics behind it? And then how do they record and present that in a communicative way so that what they're doing is going back to pen and paper, writing it, and then being able to present it. So utilising all those skills that I talked about, the communication, the critical thinking, but equally the machine learning as well. And then the other one I'm really passionate about is leaders. How do we create the sustainable leaders? When you enter a trust, I know when I entered mine, there was no role model of what does the director of education do? Where's the training for that? Where do you get that source of information? Now, we have a lot of being the CEO programs, and so set up leading leaders programs, those interests, a bit like yours, settle in a way, but for other roles within trusts. That how do you develop the strategic thinking, because that's what's missing. How do you galvanise your schools to take influence from afar and still make a difference on outcomes? What are the best ways to do it? How do we integrate coaching within that? Because I'm a huge believer in that. The key behind everything I wanted to do when I stepped out was collaboration with like-minded people. And I really felt I'm at that stage of my journey where, in my career, where I've got lots more to give, but I want to work with like-minded people and I want to pay forward in some ways as well. So I'm collaborating with an amazing subject specialist. I'm not an AI specialist, trust me. I haven't got a clue. I've got a PhD AI subject specialist and she's brilliant. I mean, you know, I look at her and I go, whoa, huge respect. Right, tell me about that bit again. And then with the leading leaders, I've got somebody Rachel Higginson, who's doing some amazing work on finding your voice and being authentic, and again, the way in which she leads herself. So having people that you work with that can absolutely get what you're doing, I think is just it's the key for me now, that collaboration and paying it forward with, I'm a trustee for a trust, so that's kind of one way of paying it forward. Yeah. I volunteer for the Association of Education Advisors because I believe in the work that they do. So giving that back as well, it's my time to do that now. So that's me in a nutshell, in a way.
What a start. Does that beat Nathan's start?
It's on par.
It's on par. It's amazing.
Hold on. I haven't told you about my international work.
We
save that piece.
I think I need AI.
Well, we need it
to summarise all that.
Give me the TLDR, the too long didn't read on that. It's amazing.
Oh my God, I like that.
It's an amazing journey. You would have been, I love this, you're like the terrible employee because you're such a, big thinker, big minds, connecting with people. There's always a terrible employee. We've met some.
I think my CEO would say that. You're very difficult to manage.
Oh, because you want to be off doing other things.
But I call myself a maverick.
Absolutely. That's it. That's exactly it. Going all the way, I mean, education was obviously, it's funny how you kind of were in education, then you went out and then you came back in. Yeah. And I just think with education, most people we've interviewed on here, it's the purpose. The purpose is there for every one of them. Yeah. And it feels like you've found that again within education. Yeah. It's not that the older generation was not a bad thing because you learnt a lot from it, but you've ended up back in the world of education and you are engrossed in it now. I think everything you're involved in.
Yeah. I think with the older people, you'll be interested to know that I did all the training and education for my staff. So I had 30 staff that were my staff. So I did all their training for delivering the care. So I did the medication training, I did the moving and handling training. So I had to learn that. So I think education's always been there. It's at different levels. And I even held, because sometimes some of our staff lacked the ability the financial literacy, how to manage their money. So did a lot of work on financial literacy, spelling, English. How do we make sure that when we're writing our notes about we are the English teacher always comes out, doesn't it? So I don't know. I think the thread's always been there, but it's been, whether it's children or adults. Yeah. I think if we look at education, education's lifelong.
Yes.
So I see it from 0 to whenever your days are.
I agree with that. Totally agree with that. I started to learn more as I got into my 30s, to be fair. Yeah. I had like 20 years of doing nothing. Just playing PlayStation.
I can imagine.
Playing PlayStation all the night, drinking alcohol. And then I started reading books, and getting all the...
I think people are quite shocked when they meet you and that you explain how many books you know, like I've ever read.
Yes.
They're taken back because you're so outgoing with it. They're like, you don't have time to read books, surely. But then you're like, oh, you read so-and-so, you read so-and-so. Even I'm like...
I know, I just throw it makes me sound intelligent.
Yeah. So what's the latest book you've read that's left an impact?
The last one was...
or Audible.
Yeah, I do a lot of Audible. It was That'll Never Work by Matt Randolph, the Netflix guy. Yeah. I've actually read it a long time ago, but I'll be honest, it's helped with the journey of settle a lot. You know, that'll never work. 2 dudes in a car talking about ideas. Where one was like dog shampoo. I don't know if you've read the book, but it's absolutely incredible. But when it's like dog shampoo, and the guy goes, "No, you can't do dog shampoo." And anyway, he went down the road. But anyway, they built Netflix, and the journey to Netflix was absolutely incredible. That book's actually amazing.
Okay.
That'll never work. That's what everyone, because that's what everyone says about every idea. But listening to a lot of that, you do you ever, because you do a lot of, you teach a lot of people, or you speak to a lot of people about psychology. Do you ever look at yourself and try and work out where you're at in your journey? And because do you do a self-analysis like you would analyse us?
I wouldn't dare analyse you both, guys.
100% would be.
I don't know what my T-shirt's about, but clearly,
looking at us, we've been fully analysed. But
do you know what? I think the greatest talent and the greatest thing a leader needs to have, or a human being needs to have, is self-awareness. I, since 2009, have had a coach. So I get coached regularly. I'm certified, so I believe strongly that you should have a coach and supervision. I have the mirror held up to me quite closely a lot. I know when my default behaviours kick in. I know when I'm a people pleaser, and I kind of go, I have to say I had a bit of a panic attack when why am I doing this? I'm driving an hour and I'm lost now, and pick up the phone now, you know. And you think, am I people pleasing? Why am I doing that? Where does that come from? Because we all have some drivers. We're on a continuum. And I always say to people, I'm a work in progress. If I can be a better human being and be the best I can be every morning when I wake up, that's what I work to be. Because our default behaviour does kick in. You know, I talked about biases. My own biases kick in. My biggest value is honesty. And I struggle when people are dishonest with me. And I try really hard, because I've now become biased, and I'm thinking, I'm struggling with this because it's really, really taking me off kilter. I expect everyone to be honest. And, you know, I don't, have you read The Chimp Paradox?
Yes.
And he talks about, when did his training, he said, 1 in 3 people will not like you. So just assume that 1 in 3 will be dishonest. And when you know that fact, you kind of just get on with it. I go, that's horrible. I can't deal with that. But so self-awareness, being aware of who you are, where the parts of you'll know it. It goes into, you can feel it in your stomach, or you can feel you're getting angry, or, you know, mine sometimes is, the gut, and I'm thinking I'm getting butterflies in my stomach, I'm getting a bit anxious here, and how do I behave then when all that kicks in? Do I get a bit nervous? So then I talk too much, I try and cover the gaps, or do I go silent, or do I not say what I really think, or do I say too often what I think? When does it get me into trouble? I said recently to somebody, they said, what's your greatest strength? So I said, doing the right thing, even if it gets me into trouble. And sometimes it gets me into a lot of trouble. I thought it was a bit of a joke as well. But, you know, then I was asked, would I get them into trouble? Oh, I thought, I didn't know how to answer that. And so I started panicking, and then I was answering it with, no, I'll do it the right way. Then afterwards I felt like saying, well, you shouldn't be doing anything that gets you into trouble.
Yeah, that's the
but
answer.
I could see afterwards my self-awareness was I let myself down.
Right, yeah.
And
there's a lot going on, isn't there, in this with self-analysis.
You asked that question.
I know, I'm like,
oh my God. That's a revelation, yeah.
The only reason I asked the question, in all honesty, was, you know, you look at all the things you're involved with. There's a lot, you know, there isn't one focus. And, you know, we speak about focus and stuff, don't we? And doing one thing and the other, but you seem to have a good grasp on doing multiple things at the same time, and what's allowing you to do that, because all your pieces are very good, but do you ever struggle with the time of trying to deal with them all? Or
do you know, a lot of people have said I don't know how you do it, and I sleep. I get my 7 hours of sleep. I'm passionate about getting me 7 hours, because I know I'm no good in the morning or at night, and trust me, my husband will know I'm no good. I need me hours sleep. I eat well, I exercise well. So I start with my diary first, putting in my yoga, putting in my health and fitness, putting in my time, putting in some social. So that's how my diary starts. I plan those bits in. Yeah.
I like that. I'm going to take some of this.
Because if I don't do that first, then it's never going to happen. Now, we have a family calendar now because we have a dog and it's all who's going to be there for the dog. Well, they know now because I've formulated some real routines and rituals in my house. And they're my routines and rituals to keep me sane. But then when I am on doing a task, I'm probably very efficient, but I've had to learn and be disciplined. I'm not distracted. I switch off my phone. I don't look at emails. I've got 1 hour, and in that hour, I have to produce ABC. Otherwise, I won't go yoga tonight. I won't be able to sleep at the time I need to, and then I won't get up in the morning and be fresh. So all of those things. Now, I work on the 80-20 rule because there is the Friday night bit and there is the bit that Saturday morning you might want a bit of a lie-in or you might get up earlier. But generally, my life goes in first. Life first.
Non-negotiable.
High performance habits is this. This is,
it's good habits.
Good habits.
It's just good habits. It's not complicated. Have you read Oliver Burkeman's book on 4,000 weeks?
No.
Amazing.
No.
Right. From the day you're born, 0, to when you die, and on average at 80, in this country it's about 82, so okay. You have got 4,000 weeks in your life. Now, if you kind of imagine, if you're going to spend it in the morning, you're going to get up, you're going to pick up your gadget and you're going to scroll for 20 minutes because it's ever so easy. I've done it, fallen into that trap. And then you go on to another site and go, oh, that's interesting. Go somewhere else. Oh, I might just respond to that. Oh, before you know it, you've done 40 minutes. Mm-hmm. Do 40 minutes every day. Add that up. Take it away from your 4,000 weeks. That's your choice. Your relationship with time is your choice. We've all got equity of time. That's the only thing we have equity of. So why don't we choose to use it differently? Yeah. So I do fit everything in. And believe it or not, when I worked in a full-time role, I absorbed myself so much in it that I didn't, my life went in a way because you're constantly feeling responsible for all the children, all the staff. And when you're working for yourself, even though you've got your businesses, I think you're more strategic in the way you work. And so I'm not one to sit and think, oh, I'll sit by the beach and do nothing. I kind of think, no, right, what am I going to learn? Whether I'm going for a walk, whether I'm reading a book, can I apply it? And where does that link to whatever? But I don't find it stressful. There are stresses, but I don't find it stressful. I don't sit and go, I'm very stressed. I talked about my deadlines today. I'm not stressed. It will happen.
No, it will happen, yeah.
Because I know I've got to make them happen. So I am lastminute.com as well. And so sometimes
I'm a pressure worker.
Yeah.
Work better on the pressure.
Do you know what?
Lee is a pressure worker. I love this session. This is like
therapy.
I love it. It's a therapy session. I'm absolutely loving it.
No, but there is a level of stress we need in our life. It's called eustress, EUSTRESS. And eustress is that level of stress that enables us to be very effective. It's almost like at the top of that curve. But if you overdo that stress, you're at the bottom and you're at the pit and your brain won't work because your amygdala's kicked in and your emotions are high. And I think what we don't do enough of is breathe. And it's amazing what breathing does for us when we're in those high stress points, because what kicks in is our emotions. And I'm a believer that probably over the years of being coached, doing coaching myself, brings me that energy, fills my cup, and then I'm always full. So I'm also positive, cup full, which is probably annoying to the world and his wife. Yeah. So
I'm
positive as well. I'm everyone's worst nightmare. My roof's blown off. Well,
you've got three pints full, you are.
I know. And people think you've had a drink and you go, no, I haven't had a drink yet.
Exactly.
You can see how all this links though into like the work you do.
Yeah.
Obviously with it being within education leaders.
Yeah.
They must absolutely love sitting with you and
some don't like the challenge and some do, so I would hope they love being with me and I give them energy.
If you can put some habits that you're ultimately leading by example.
Yes.
Great habits, building businesses, doing everything. So when you've got leaders within education, having this energy into a leader to then pushes onto the pupils. Imagine what makes them feel. You understand that, the constant cycle of it.
Absolutely. And you can build those habits from little ones. You really can. And I think children love structure. They love routines and they love rituals. Routines tell them that they're safe. They tell them they know what to do and they feel safe. Rituals just makes them, it's that tone you set in the house, the ritual of, I don't know, we have a ritual in our house, which I know my kids probably hate at this moment in time, but they will love it when I'm gone and I'm leaving a legacy behind, which is our wonderful family Christmas photo. They have the photo taken and they have to be in this one Christmas photo and they go, can we get it over and done with now? Bear in mind, they're like late 20s and 30s. So, and I'm going, yep, photo time. But we've got all the Christmas photos and that legacy of, Mum and Dad used to make us do this, and they'll do it. They will automatically do it because there's something quite connecting about that ritual. And for me, it's really good. Some people have a simple ritual when they get out of bed, they breathe, they stretch, they might do some exercise, they might read a book, and it sets their mind in the right place before they start work.
I've literally started that this week.
Oh, have you?
I'm just about to say with you, what are you doing?
What's your ritual?
Old. Just stretching.
Yeah.
I've started this week. I've done every morning, so I've done 4 mornings on the bounce. Yeah. And it's only 8 minutes. It's on the iPad. Follow it. See, I feel miles better for it.
Yeah.
I just don't get out of bed and like shuffle across the. And I'm only 40. It's not like I'm like this 90-year-old. But you get so used to being sat and in minimal, because I don't have those. I don't have them. I'm really laid back. Ever since I was young. Probably, like, if you ask my parents, like,
sounds like my husband.
I was like always laid back. They're sometimes amazed where I've got to in life. I think at times, because like you're always laid back, but now they see me now, and I'm just like, even though I'm still quite calm and I'm quite reflective, I'm always thinking a lot of sparks are going in the background. I'm on the phone or I'm doing something, and I'm a million miles an hour. But that's just been a parent, isn't it? I guess, and business owner and things like that. But yeah, and that's how these fall back. Oh, you've got the gift of the gab. That's why you've done so. And it's like, you remember, you used to be laid back. You used to have to drag you to do your revision for your exams or do your homework. I was like, no, it's just been calm. People look at the calmest people in the room. They're the ones that are like making the decisions sometimes, aren't they?
Oh, I think we underestimate the calm people because they're not the loudest in the room. I think the ritual, if you carry that on as a habit, you won't stop because you'll see the benefit. And that's part of it, isn't it? That's this Navy SEALs. I don't know if you've read the book Make Your Bed. Yeah, talks about making your bed. That's all it is. It's just something every morning that gets you into that routine. I think it's powerful. And
it's someone to try and inner young children. And my wife's very organised. She's very ritual, as in don't get me wrong, she doesn't always hit it, but if she wants to go to the gym, she'll make that her priority. Whereas if I want to do that, there's sometimes some friction on that because why are we doing that? So but that doesn't fit around there, and it is a bit of a clash sometimes. I think
get time tree. The calendar works. Trust
You've told me about this.
Time tree. I love it. Honestly, it's revolutionised the family. It's brilliant. Put it in.
I've got a theory on this. I think my wife, she keeps the hard back calendar in the kitchen because I don't look at it very much and I don't see it, and so when it comes to it, she just goes to. The calendar, I put it in, and I'm like, whereas if it's digital, it's all there, isn't it? So I need to enforce that a little bit.
No, I was very paper and pen. As you can see, I'm paper and pen. I'm a writer by heart, and the kids, they moved me to digital. I love it now. I'm in there first, quite.
That's the thing, 6 a.m.
I'm in there. Got it. Sorry.
Which is good.
Let's talk about what's going on the desk.
Do you know what?
Just a mess.
I I created a mess because I tell you what,
Marking.
there's a lot of things. Marking. AI can do that now. But
This is your book, isn't it?
No, there is my book as well. But
Where's
Dan.
Come on.
I thought this was all about me.
Yeah, I know that.
Well, I've pieced already. Look.
No, I kind of think there's a few things. There's one which is so. I suppose at the core of who I am, I'm about community. End of. I'm about community. I'm about people, and through education, I'm about connecting. So that's how I describe who I am. So when you said who I am, when I try and deliver what I deliver in a compassionate way, don't always get it right, and hopefully I learn from any mistakes. Sometimes I'm rocking in a corner when somebody gives me feedback, but I pick myself up very quickly. So I don't stay there long. That's the difference. Yeah. Because I don't overthink, and I don't play it in my head. I play it. I'm very,
Did you used to?
Never.
So I've
always been. I suppose doing a degree in psychology helps, because what you kind of do is realise it doesn't serve a purpose. So once somebody's had a conversation, you've said your bit. I cannot change that. It's a bit like I used to do an assembly with children on toothpaste. Once the toothpaste is out, you're not going to get the toothpaste back in, are you?
No.
You're just going to clean it up. So clean it up and start again, and just keep it simple. I can't do anything about that, but my intention is to do better next time. That's it. So keep it very simple. And when I am around people who are mood hoovers or who absolutely overthinkers, I don't know what else to describe.
That, don't you? Yeah.
I hate being around negative people.
I got oxygen stealers.
It's oxygen, energy drainers, whatever you want to call them, radiator leaks, whatever. But it's hard work. Yeah. And there is a science behind it, because they can rub off on you. If you hang around with negative people day in and day out, you're guaranteed to be negative.
Absolutely. That's why you hang around with me.
So
Keep him upbeat all the time.
If I'm down, I just come and give you a little rub and
get a bit of damn.
I'm up again. Yeah.
Now, I suppose I kind of brought a few things. I don't want to share them. It's just I was trying to, when you said to me, "Oh, it's just all about you." As I said to you, Dan, even though people see me, I'm a real extrovert, and people look at me and go, "God, but I actually, underneath it all, I don't like talking about me, and I've worked hard talking about me, because I realise people don't then really get to know the real me, because they only know the bit of me I share. So there's only an inner circle that really gets to hear me. And when I was leaving my job at Christmas, I kind of said, this is going to shift and change. I had two personal, my mum passed away, my brother passed away in 2 years, and it was quite traumatic. It was all really sad. But there was something that I learned from that as well, was that actually, Mum was very positive and said, you whatever you do, it'll always be all right. And you should always do the right thing, which is where I suppose I've got those values from. But I kind of said in January, right, I'm going to really make an effort to come out and come on anything and talk a bit more. It's probably you're lucky. It took me till June to come out and do a podcast, so well done you for persevering. But and I started a newsletter on my LinkedIn called, Education for Change, and that's real personal in a way, because I've intertwined a bit about me, and you're starting to pick up who I am. I don't really like talking about me. I don't sit and, like you say, oh, you do all these things. I kind of go, doesn't everybody? What's so different about what I do? I don't see it as a shiny show. And so I had to think back and go, oh, God, he wants me to talk about me. What do I say? So I sat there and I go, right, who was I? I did a degree in psychology. Right, okay, fell into head shit. I have neutral role. So, I kind of wrote it, and I thought, okay, just in case I just don't want me notes, because then it looks like you've got notes. Can't remember who you are. I'll just bring things to prompt me. So hence that bits to prompt me. But my journey's been, if I see an opportunity that I feel is a good opportunity to make a difference, and I know I can make a difference, and it's working with brilliant, like-minded folk, I will. But I think this is the key, is I've been so lucky that in that third year, I met a team of people that were inspirational, that have mentored me, that are still working in education. They're in their 70s, still making great waves. The famous Tim Brighouse, he was the chief exec in Birmingham, I wanted to work for him. I got a job with him. He wrote a personal letter to thank all the heads. When crisis hit my school in Birmingham, he was by the gates. Taught me so much. I met key players like him that became my mentors, and that you sat there. And somebody called Steve Mumby wrote in his book, Imperfect Leadership, surround yourself with mentors. And I think I was just lucky that I've really been able to surround myself with people who've guided me into being even better. Yeah. And not expecting. So your expectations aren't, well, I should have that. Well, no. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It's all this stuff, it really gets you thinking, and you can understand why, like, your world belongs in education. Like, it just does, I think, like, you can influence so many people. I just wanted to mention about then, obviously there's a lot going on, but the business I do see pop up is CS Reboot.
Yeah.
So this is the main one. This is the one that kind of
there's
I see you linked to.
And there's another one which we might do a podcast if I get Dr. Beth Lane here. She will do a brilliant podcast.
Doctor,
I know. I had to throw she's the I mean, what she doesn't know on AI, you kind of sit back and go, oh gosh, we think we know, and we become. We always think we're experts. None of us are experts unless you've studied like that and really developed that expertise in that subject. What we are is just better at understanding the knowledge and that. So CS Reboot. There's Beth, myself, and Leanna. There's three of us, and we wanted to do something which was about children from the age of 10 to 18 having the opportunity through boot camps in the summer holidays initially of developing their AI skills, their technology skills, but then utilising those in a practical way. So we've set some future tech camps, and part of what we're trying to do is... I think I said to you, Dan, we were quite impressed that we started off writing a bit about it, and in the third week we became #1 on Google. We were going, okay, there's a need here. Everyone's really interested in this, so we've got to kind of look a bit more professional and start putting a business plan. And it started off as a great idea, but we're now at the stage where this is almost like the concept stage, and we're piloting it in the summer. We've got places for 40 students. We've got places filled, but we're trying to find sponsorships of those children who can't afford. So we are breaking that digital divide. And I think it will be really good once we get it off the ground. It's getting children to have the opportunity to really understand that sometimes the way they see in AI isn't what AI is. The way they see computer science isn't what computer science is. Coding isn't something very difficult. I'm going on the boot camps as well because I think I need to just understand how to code. You'll have to come on it, Dan. I'll sign you up. But just to be able to get children who are 16 to 18 and get two things to going for them. One is their digital portfolio. So they will create, using the app, using the coding, using Python, their digital portfolio. They will create using a web-based model, but that over 2 days. And then at the end of it, they will sit and write a presentation of the process that they went through. So it's not something AI will write for you. So trying to teach children, you still need pen and paper. You still need to think. Yeah. You still need to write it. You tell the machine, you feed the machine churns out whatever you fed in and whatever algorithms working in the background based on what it's already got. So it may not be true. So now discern the information by reading it. And so trying to teach children to do that is going to be it's going to be fun. It's a summer activity.
We've just done a live podcast at Franklin College, didn't we? Where they had immersive training for a full week. It's still going on now.
Oh, wow.
Do you know what, on that, do you know what really caught me off guard is when you were doing your CPD.
Yes.
And so we had some students waiting who wanted to come on and learn about how the podcast was being done and sit and talk it through. Yeah. I said, apologies, we're was doing a CPD on AI, and they pulled me. They said, "Oh, you do know it? Like it's X gallon of water for every word you put into AI."
Yeah.
And I was
Absolutely.
like, "What?" Totally oblivious. I was just like,
you're going to get absolutely.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
And
The facts.
You are so true, because if you think of when we use the word please and thank you with AI, when we're going into ChatGPT, I don't know why you think you've got a relationship with ChatGPT, first of all, and write please and thank you. It's a tool. Do you do it in your computer calculator? You
Sid likes when I say please and thank you.
I've said that to you before, Dan. I said, why are you putting please and thank you? Because it uses so much water. And if you think, and so we have to teach children about the sustainability issues at the same time. It's frightening.
Shocked like 450. It was. I looked like. I thought they were going to throw paint over me or something for like
we were
protesting.
We were just doing a basics on ChatGPT and what it can do. A lot of them didn't even know what it was. These were so we run it for school estates, and it was just like it was things like templates,
just to speed up,
and they were like, we got some good feedback.
And then, like 315 others, just like turned around and gone like, do you know how much litres of water? I was like, I don't.
I think it's a balance. We could say that with everything, isn't it? It's the balance.
Of course it is,
I think ChatGPT serves a purpose, but do we know that whatever comes out are we actually using our critical thinking to check the information, to make sure it makes sense, to make sure it, I put something in the other day and I sent it to somebody and it said Angie, and it converted my name to Angie. I said, I'm not Angie. And it was funny because it was to a friend, and a friend came back and said, you didn't check yours? I said, no, because it was only to you. And I just thought, I'd just ping it. And he came back with, but you can see what happens if you don't check the information.
Yeah, you do go nose blind. I think you sort of become a little bit, not reliant, but just sort of like
Yeah.
I don't know, especially from a surveying background where writing, report writing and factual and opinion has to be really clear and on point, and it's quite laborious sometimes because it'll spew out so much that you've got to check, and you'll double guess yourself thinking, well, is that? And then you use some more sort of research, looking at books or whatever you want to check what protocol or what guidance note, and it can be counterproductive. It can be very productive on certain things, but I'm still on the fence. You're a big advocate.
Yeah, I use it for reasoning. It helps me navigate through situations. Sometimes that's how I use it for.
I think it can be useful. I think I use pen and paper first always, and then sometimes I might go on to Claude, for instance, and go, can you check this for factual accuracy? But then I don't like what Claude says. I put it into ChatGPT and go, Claude has said this. Do you agree? If so, why? And if not, why not? Where are your sources? So it's the way you ask the questions. And then you come back with what you do. But if we think of the brain is neuroplastic, the brain is a muscle, isn't it? So if you stop using the muscle, what happens?
Depreciates.
And so if we've got to use the two. It can't be one or the other. We've got to be able to use the two and not lose sight that those neural pathways are going to stop creating if we don't use them. So we've got to show children, and I think that's the Future Tech Camps are the start of that journey, showing children you can't do one in isolation because it's just a machine. Yeah. You have to do two. It does save time in lots of ways, but equally it takes time. Yeah. Because to get your final product, it's a lot of iterations, isn't it?
Yeah. Investment.
The full episode on that. I can't wait.
Well, you'll have to get Beth into for that one. And she's a good one. Yeah.
I'm terrified. I think I'll be like.
It is though. My brain doesn't. Well, you guys know me, so you know my brain's like it's just like this super muscle. But what's the? I don't want to ask you what the vision is for everything you're doing because you are doing amazing stuff. But do you have a long-term vision for yourself of what you'd like to? You used the word legacy before, and I love that.
I think
what's your legacy in this?
Okay, well, I think there's two things. My wonderful coach in 2009 that I had from then, she taught me something really powerful, and I've done it every year since. She said, "Get a book." I've got my book, and in January, just write down some things you want to achieve, work, professionally, personally. What is it you want to achieve? Just have a think and reflect. So I always do. You know how people write their New Year's resolutions, I don't. I kind of think, oh, here we go again. I'm going to be a better person. I'm going to, just what is it you're going to be? What is it you're going to do? So I sit and I think, and the way I look at it, thinking, what do I want to be doing? What do I want to be doing this year? So if I looked back in December, I can turn around and go, I did that. Who do I want to work with, in work? But then when my children were younger, I used to write the ages of the children and where they were, where my husband, because he used to work away a bit, where is he? So what can I actually really do in terms, and that's the reality, because life is the whole parcel. Health-wise, what do I want to get better at in my health? Because we all do have dips where we go, I really don't want to be doing this. And I always put a creative skill in there that I want to develop. What do I want to read? So it basically is a full page. I never look at it again after January, and then December comes, I go, oh my God, let me have a look.
Panic.
But, there's something brilliant about just writing it. Once I've written it, I kind of subconsciously remember it.
Yeah.
And I might pop a glance at it every time I have a bit of a wobble and think, am I just all over the place? I used the word confetti with you last time, didn't I? Am I confettiing myself? Yeah. What am I really doing? Where's my focus? Why do I feel like this? And I look at it and I think, no, I'm on track. I'm not adding anything to that. Mm. And when I look at it, I 9 times out of 10 do everything I've said I was going to do. So for me, it's working with someone different, because I think I'm a people person and I'm curious about people. I'm curious about human beings. I love meeting new people. So, meeting new people is just fascinating for me. So working with new people, I think something about what can I give back? And that's the legacy bit. I'm not thinking of anything profound at all. I'm just thinking, if I can add a little bit, just that, I call it the 1%. If I can just add 1% to either somebody's life or some thinking, and it doesn't matter where the thinking is, or I can touch some 1% of people in some way, then that's kind of a key in terms of what I want to do. And then I kind of look at my family and my children and I think, I want them to be good, decent human beings. And they're adults now, and I look and I think, it turned out too bad. I'm very proud of them. So it's all of that, isn't it? There's not one concrete thing of. I used to say when I was at university, and my uni friends would say, right, less of the Martin Luther King and more Rosa Parks, because I say, I want to change the world. And they'd go, no, calm it down. You're not going to be able to do it in one night. And be Rosa Parks, the small steps. And I kind of learnt a long time ago, just throw that pebble in the stream and watch the ripples. Yeah. And the more pebbles I can throw, more ripples. And the more people we touch, the better world we live. And we need to leave the world in a better place than we have. And that's where the water bit, the sustainability bit, all of those things matter.
Oh, mate, I love it. It's what a podcast is doing. Did you have to do a podcast in your book when you wrote it this year?
No.
Well, there we go then.
We surpassed, haven't we? We surpassed it, yeah.
Oh, that's because I don't like talking about myself. Anyway, you wouldn't think that because I haven't stopped talking.
Do you know what?
Yeah, when you said extrovert. Yeah.
But do you know what? A little piece you said about giving back.
Yeah.
You joining us today
to
talk is you giving back, because people can watch, listen. Yeah. Really inspiring. We could do a full episode just on psychology, to be perfectly honest. Yeah. But I think today was just a real nice snapshot of what you're working on, how you're involved in education. And for me and Lee, honestly, it's a pleasure to have you. So
it's been brilliant, actually.
I'm just going to go home and redo everything. I've got a little bits to work on, but
it's confetti in it all over again.
I'm not now, because I'm in line.
You're in line, no confetti. Yeah. No, thank you. It's been lovely. It's been a really nice conversation, and you forget you're sitting in front of this and it's going to be videoed, and oh my gosh.
It'd be amazing.
Thank you very much for coming on. It's realigned to me that it's like I'm still doing little enough steps to make a difference.
You are
little bits. Whereas
you are.
It's like things that you think, do you know what? I've always got a challenge. I'm always doing something every year, and it's when I stop doing and having the little challenges, that's when I do need a kick.
Yeah.
Up the
you said that there's always a challenge. I try and move the world, and I get myself in bother with it.
Yeah.
But I'm already doing the pieces already.
You can't
And
beat yourself up.
it's that big, you've got the big picture, which is possibly you want to make the world a better place. And then every piece of the jigsaw just fits eventually.
You're doing, mate, you're doing that perfect.
Yay, brilliant.
Thank you so much.
Oh, pleasure. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Thanks.